Bokpin has urged the government to strengthen its domestic revenue mobilization efforts to help the country's post-COVID-19 economic recovery. He was speaking at a forum organized by Imani Africa and GIZ to explore creative ways of using tax policy to support business growth and job creation whilst generating enough revenue for the state. There is more in this report.
At the forum, tax consultant Ali Nachia indicated that government needs to intensify verification and enforcement of tax laws. According to him, the enthusiasm of the GRA task force to go after defaulters is low.
With the integration of the revenue institutions, I've hardly heard of verification visits. Everything is now boxed into the audit. And you know, when it takes time to rotate and get to do an audit. And I always also say that during the verification exercise and the audit is when we solve his problem. That's the opportunity to educate the taxpayer on the compliance levels. And then aside that, what we have lost so far is enforcement.
Meanwhile, former Finance Minister Seth Terkper has blamed the current government for misapplication of taxes.
So, if we are removing something which is a consumption tax and we want to make it, because excise is punitive. So are we removing it? Are we making it excisable because it's punitive? Because excise is on alcohol, it's on tobacco, and for environmental reasons, it's on petroleum. So what's the basis of, importing something which used to be VAT and you are treating it like an excise? Is it because it's punitive? No. Because the purpose for the VAT is general consumption tax.
On his part, economist Professor Godfred Bobkin mentioned that the country's weak domestic revenue mobilization is a major threat to post-COVID-19 economic recovery.
The biggest expenditure item in the 2021 budget is unacceptably interest payment. Ghana's weak domestic revenue mobilization is a threat to the country's post-pandemic inclusive economic recovery.
Meanwhile, contribution of value-added tax to the country's total tax revenue has shrunk from 34% in the year 2007 to about 24% as of today. This, the Deputy Director of Research and Strategy at the Ghana Revenue Authority, Dr. Charles Adai, says is due to lack of compliance by some institutions. It could be a major reason why the nation is struggling to raise adequate revenue, as tax revenue to gross domestic product is below Africa's average of about 15%. He was speaking at the Imani GIZ Reform Dialogue Series.
VAT, when it came into the system around 2000 up to around 2007, was performing very well. In fact, our VAT contribution to total tax revenue was hit around 35%. As at now, VAT is contributing around 23–24% to total revenue in the country. Yes, the policies that we started with, there has been some changes in them, but I may not blame the downward trend in contribution of VAT to policies. I think I would rather blame it on compliance, payment of VAT in Ghana. There are a lot of challenges that we are facing when it comes to VAT collections. And that is why somewhere around 2014, yeah, we tried to bring a new system to the economy, which we refer to as electronic point of sales device, to ensure that all transactions that take place in our shopping malls and other shops, as soon as a receipt is given to you, it reflects in the GRA database, so that we know that at the end of the month, when you come in, even if you don't come, and once the transactions are captured by us, we know how much VAT you are coming to pay.
In other news, government will soon be engaging transaction advisors for the long-term future of the recently acquired Airtel Tigo. This is part of plans by government to revive the company as the parent shareholders have exited the Ghana market. Minister for Communications, Esla Usu-Kufo, has told Joy Business that government is still assessing the company, but is likely to acquire the services of a management firm and transaction advisors.
We intend to engage a transactions advisor to advise on the options
of how to, the long-term structure of this company going forward. We'll have experts, advisors on that. But for the immediate future, we're going to engage a management services company to assist the company to continue its operations. This is a capital-intensive industry, but if you invest, you will get the returns. If you don't invest, you will feel the pinch, and that's what's playing out in the industry. But we have the commitment at the highest level that in the interim, in the short term, whatever investments they need or they require to upgrade and extend their operations, they will get it. Government is stepping into the shoes of a shareholder who wants its investment to pay dividends to it. And so we won't just take this and sit down and watch it deteriorate. We'll do what needs to be done to grow the operations of the company, and from cabinet right down through to the Ministry of Finance. Like I indicated, we're working closely with them on that. And so in the short term, whatever funds they require to put back in the business, they will get it from government.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Also on the marketplace this afternoon, fuel prices are expected to go up again next week. This is based on data that Joy Business has secured from bulk distributors of petroleum products. There's more in this Business Desk report.
Based on this data, petrol is expected to be increased by 2.19%, while diesel is going up by 2.36%. From these adjustments, a litre of petrol will be sold at 6 Ghana cedis 18 pesos, while diesel should go for at least 6 cedis 19 pesos. The increase is as a result of the current development in the U.S. due to the cut in fuel supplies because of one of its major suppliers being hit by hackers. Now, why are we so sure about changes at the pumps from next week? Well, these are the prices that the bulk oil distribution firms have released for next week. So unless these oil marketing firms absorb the increase, consumers will definitely be paying more when they drive to any service station from Sunday, the 16th of May. It had been earlier projected that current development on the international market would result in prices going up at the pumps in the coming days. The situation has been compounded by the recent taxes placed on these products.
Well, meanwhile, the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU, is entreating the public to disregard any purported increase in transport fares. This follows a meeting held with stakeholders and the Transport Ministry to review public transport fares for this year, which ended without an agreement. Here's a statement for you. It says, a motion was tabled to bring clarity to some of the provisions in the Income Tax Amendment Act 2021. The Act in its current form suspends the payment of vehicle income tax, VIT, for taxis and trotros. However, its application has been shrouded with some ambiguities. The VIT constitutes part of the cost build-up for the determination of fares. It goes on to say that we have therefore commenced discussions with the Ministry of Finance and the Ghana Revenue Authority to bring clarity to the application of the vehicle income tax, and concludes by saying, we entreat all transport operators to stay calm as we negotiate for a fair adjustment within the shortest possible time. We also entreat the general public to disregard any purported increase in fares. So that statement is signed by Godfred Abobire, who is General Secretary of the GPRTU, and Emmanuel Ohene-Yabua, General Secretary of the GRTCC. So transport fares not going up for now until there is an agreement. Now, it's been 2 days since the Ghana Online Drivers Union called a sit-down strike to protest what they say is unfair treatment and poor conditions of service. The union is made up of drivers from ride-hailing firms such as Uber and Bolt. I'm joined by Francis Tinge, who is president, with the latest on the sit-down strike. Francis, great to have you on the marketplace. So this was supposed to be a 2-day strike. Has it been called off? Francis, if you could unmute for us so we can hear you. Okay, I'm waiting for Francis to unmute. Hopefully you can hear him.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Great. I can hear you now, Francis. So I was asking if your 2-day sit-down strike has been called off.
Yes, please. We are currently the 2-day strike, national 2-day strike. Let me make this correction. The strike started in 2 days ago in Accra, Cape Coast, Takrady, and Kumasi, respectively.
Okay.
We ended yesterday, yes.
So what has been the outcome? I know that you had some concerns to do with conditions of service and the welfare generally of the ride-hailing drivers.
Yes, that is true. Actually, we petitioned the office of the president, and we also copied the DVLA, Ministry of Transport, Ministry of National Security, Ministry of National Road Safety Authority. We also copied the Council of State. These are all major stakeholders in our field of work, the online driving. So yesterday we had a meeting with the DVLA, and apparently they also don't know some of the issues on the ground. For instance, they gave us guidelines that drivers are supposed to pay an amount of money not to verify our driver's license. The car owners were also to pay 60 cedis to verify the car, and then a roadworthy issue. So, well, at the meeting, we made it known to them that Bolt and Uber has combined both fees that should be paid by the driver. So instead of the car owner taking their part and driver also paying their part. So they said they are going to review it and they will get back to us.
Okay, but then you had other concerns to do with security as well. How are those issues being addressed? Are you hearing from the operators, Uber, Bolt? Are you hearing from them?
No, as we speak in Ghana here, Uber and Bolt, according to their policies, they don't recognize unions, such as the Ghana Online Drivers Union. They don't recognize that. But we petition and copy the national security and the Ghana police so that they have to come in through the Ministry of Transport and ask these operators to look at the security aspect. As we speak now, drivers are not safe, riders are not safe. They have 4 drivers being killed already.
That's unfortunate.
So we are here to have a meeting, a dialogue with the national security and the police side, MTTD, as to how best we can solve the security aspect of online system or business.
So do you think your issues are mainly because you're treated as self-employed? I'm asking this because in the UK, the Supreme Court recently ruled that Uber drivers should be treated as workers. Is this something you think you should push for?
Yes, we are working on it. In the UK, the Labour Department, the Labour Commission, took that initiative through a couple of drivers who took Uber to court. And then the labor system came in place. In Ghana here, this is a new system that is being introduced in our country. So we are also encouraging the Labour Department, the Labour Commission, the Minister of Employment, all the ministry, they should all come together and see how best we can solve this issue. Because they see drivers as independent contractors. But they have forgotten that online drivers rent the car. The cars are not for the drivers. We rent the car and we make weekly sales. So if they can also adjust the system such that we work for the hours on Uber, we work on Uber for 12 hours, on both 16 hours. So as we are working on these long hours, we need to be paid. We need to be paid. How can this be real? Through the Labour Commission, through the Ministry of Labour and Employment.
An option definitely worth looking at. Final one, we've been talking about fuel prices going up soon. We've seen adjustments being made over the past few months. Now, how are your managers handling this, and could we see that impact on your fares as well?
Very, very much. It negatively. Before I used Suzuki Auto, I used to buy 70 cedis a day. Now I'm buying 100 Ghana cedis. That means every week I'm buying fuel of 600 Ghana cedis, which is too much, plus my weekly sales of 400. That is 1,000. And Uber and Bolt also taking a whooping 25 and 20% respectively. And so the increase in fuel prices has burdened the online drivers, and it's really, really causing our activities. No, it's really bad. It's very, very, very bad. Outrageous.
Okay.
100 Ghana cedis fuel every day.
Hopefully your managers will respond. But thank you so much, Francis Atinge, who is the president of the Ghana Online Drivers Union, made up of ride-hailing drivers from companies such as Uber and Bolt, talking to us about their two-day strike that has now been called off and the headway they made during those 2 days. You're watching the marketplace. Now, the Ghana Stock Exchange recorded an impressive month-on-month growth of 15.73% in the month of April to post an impressive annual return of 31.9% to investors in the first 4 months of this year. According to its monthly summary report, investors responded positively to the strong financial results released by listed companies. There is more in this report. The GSE Composite Index, which measures the annual return, recorded its biggest daily gain on the back of large gains in GCB Bank and MTN Ghana on the last day of trading in the month of April. The 31.9% return to investors was attained on advances in the share prices of 10 companies, which outweighed losses in 5 companies. Value traded in April was, however, estimated at a little above 31 million cedis, down 36%, but year-to-date value traded was up 86% to 184 million cedis during the same period last year. On the Ghana fixed income market, value traded was up by more than 80% to 16.6 billion cedis. The government of Ghana securities totaled 14.36 billion, accounting for 90.31% of the market share. Managing Director of the Ghana Stock Exchange, Ekwa Fezi, says the market looks exciting this year and the performance will be sustained.
It's important that as a country we encourage our various companies to raise long-term capital for financing various projects and expanding so that they can employ more youth in the country as we grow.
MTN Ghana led the pack as the biggest gainer, followed by GCB Bank and Societe Generale. Welcome back. So, at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic during the lockdown, Wahima and team decided to start a business. And a year on, it is a success. Well, today on the Joy Business Van, we visit her startup, Nutri Health Foods and Beverages, where she produces her flagship hibiscus tea products.
Hello, Joy Business Van. My name is Wahima Intim, and I'm the Innovation and Business Development Lead at Nutri Health Foods and Beverages. Welcome to our production center.
Starting a hibiscus tea business was not exactly a plan for Wahima Intim before the COVID-19 pandemic. She couldn't have imagined it, but the pandemic, despite its toll, was also a silver lining. Let's rewind to about a year ago when the pandemic was at its peak.
We were home and there was a lot of time on our hands. We also wanted to explore a business that would do well in a pandemic, and this came up. I looked back on the way we have been healthy before orthodox medicine and decided that it's time to put what we know together in a way that will satisfy our clients and cause them to drink health instead of just drinking ordinary tea.
Hibiscus is found in tropical climates around the world. Its flower has become very popular because it is medicinal.
The flower has a reddish color, which is full of antioxidants. What antioxidants do for your body is that they oxygenate your blood, allow your blood to flow better, removes all the impurities from your system, allow your organs to function better.
It's rich in vitamin C, contains minerals such as flavonoids, and has laxative properties. Wahima thought it would be a healthy beverage at a time people were looking to build immunity and stay healthy during the pandemic. Commonly called sobolo here in Ghana, the dried hibiscus flowers would normally be soaked in warm water, brewed, and then served chilled with some sweetness. But Wahima wanted her products to be different.
We started off with a loose tea, which was much easier to do. We didn't need to blend, there wasn't a machine and all of that. And I remember the first tea bag we made, we didn't have a machine, so it was manually filled. I saw on Instagram that somebody had brought in tea bags. I started jumping. I called, I ordered, I think the first day I ordered 5,000 pieces immediately. And then I brought it home, began to experiment, to do the pilot, to fail, to get to the state where it is now a final product. The first tea bag I made, I think I took 100 pictures or more. I was so excited.
Boahima began to do a lot more. She shows us what goes into production, beginning with the sorting area for the dried hibiscus flowers, the first stage of the production process where impurities are removed. Next to the dryer, then processing.
So we would process the hibiscus, we would process the other things that we are adding. It may be your ginger, your precursor, your cinnamon, and everything else. That is done, then it moves into the fourth phase, which is when we bag the loose tea. Some people want to brew their tea, so we have that option. So we just bag the not so finely processed materials. Then it moves to stage 5. For the tea bags, we have to further process and refine into fine textures. And so we put it in the blending machine. We blend it into a consistency that is okay for the filling machine.
Then the filling machine bags the tea. Boahima and her team have been able to come up with 10 varieties of the hibiscus tea, including pineapple, ginger, mint, orange, a whole lot more. Her strategy to make her tea products appealing to consumers is through her attractive packaging.
This is what we started with. We got the plastic pouches, and then we filled them with the loose tea. And then you would have to get a strainer, a coffee maker, or whatever to brew the tea, the old-fashioned way. But we quickly had to move on from there. So in about a week, we are coming up with tins, very beautiful tins, even for our loose tea, with aluminium foil, because we are very, very conscious of our environment. We want material that are biodegradable, that is friendly to the environment. So we are quickly moving on from this. Then we went to the tea bags. You realize that these are manually filled. They are stringed, so you just pull and tie, because we didn't have a machine.
But now, Boahima has acquired a machine for packaging and is boosting production. She's now able to produce about 300 tins a day.
Let me share a little secret with you. We have different colors of the tins. We don't use them at random. We think through what is going into the tin to determine the color that we use. We are that concerned. We are that particular. Red will be for ginger, for example. It's fiery, it's hot. You want to see red and think that what I'm going to drink will kick me up. Yellow is fruity, so we'll do pineapple, we'll do orange. So we moved on to this. And then we have a machine that will now automatically fill and seal.
Boahima does most of her marketing on social media and has started to stock supermarkets. Production is done for the day. Boahima heads to her office to take stock of the day's work. She's currently concentrating on the e-commerce site being created for her. She's a fan of hibiscus tea herself. We asked her which of the products is her favorite.
My favorite is hibiscus ginger, but typically I would mix it. I would mix hibiscus ginger with moringa or pineapple. I like the punch and the kick that ginger gives. And I like the slight sweetness of the pineapple, so I mix and match. But when I'm trying to lose weight, which is all the time, then I'll take senna in the evenings before I sleep, because it helps to clear the fat up in my body.
Boahima's middle name is Innovation. Oh yes, and as you can imagine, she has big plans for the future. Initially,
we want to increase the variants and the types and the deliverables locally, but our sites really are on the African market, and then also in shops outside of Ghana, especially whole food shops, health shops across the world. But we want to take advantage of AFTA and open up our production and make sure that the 1 billion population in Africa becomes our target market.
Now that's big. And that's the marketplace. My name is Darryl Kwao. Thanks for watching.